Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Sunday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there, having a great start to your day, great weekend out there so far. Got you an update this morning. We're going to do what we always do in these morning videos and talk about what's going to happen specifically for today. There is some active weather ongoing, a little bit of chance of some severe weather. Lots of rain. It is absolutely pouring at my house right now. Has been doing so all morning, even some rumbles of thunder. Here, middle into late January is pretty wild, but hey, I'm not surprised by anything when it comes to the weather here in the South. But anyways, some areas seeing some snow. Some areas are gearing up for a snowstorm here in the next couple days. We're going to talk about it all here, but of course, in the beginning of the video, we'll focus in on today. I want to let y'all know if y'all see a cat in my background anytime, for you folks who have been watching, I have a gray cat that likes to make an appearance in my background sometimes. Her name's Stormy, and she is obsessed with me sometimes, and especially in the morning, she just likes to jump on my lap in the middle of the video or meow at me or something, but I keep her in the room. So if you see it, if it's a distraction, I apologize. And also, if you hear any little girls scream in the background, that's just my two little girls, and of course they had to sleep over last night, so they're all jacked up this morning. So if y'all hear that anytime, hey, it's always a family atmosphere here. And it's not like I have a huge house to have a separate room away from everything to kind of keep the noise away. So, that's just real life for you. Always keep it personal regardless for you guys. But anyways, let's talk about the weather. If you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. It goes a long way. It really does. And first off, I want to say thank you to everybody viewing outside of the Southeast. I know the majority of the people who view my videos are in the Southeast, but it's great to see a lot of comments from the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, the South Central U.S. like Texas and Arkansas and things like that. Especially y'all tune in just from a guy that's sitting in his bedroom from in the middle of South Carolina. So it's appreciated. I love you guys, and I appreciate every single one of y'all who view my content. Thank you so much for it. And lastly, and more importantly, if you guys got anything that I can pray over or pray about, please put it in the comments below. Not only do I pray over it, but I promise you others do so too. So let's get working this morning. Take a look at what's going on. We always start off like this. A lot of rain, like I said, in the Carolinas and Georgia. More rain will develop a little bit later today. You can actually already see it trying to get going here in Louisiana and Mississippi. This is falling in the form of snow. It's not a huge snowstorm, but I talked about the HRRR model over the last 2 days. Really liking the idea. Kind of showing a scenario that the National Weather Service maybe didn't agree with, but sure enough, the HRRR model is winning out, and it's snowing like crazy, especially north of Cincinnati this morning and places around Dayton, Ohio, things like that, and we'll kind of zoom into those areas. Please let me know what you've been seeing overnight in Illinois, especially Indiana and Ohio. And I would love to hear your reports. And, they officially dropped some winter weather advisories in those areas, which we'll talk about here in a second. You see these little areas of clouds, high cloud tops. That is our next system. It's dropping down. It's about to dig pretty deep into the southwest and then into the south central U.S. and then eject across the middle of the country. And it'll bring a snowstorm for areas like Oklahoma, parts of the panhandle of Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, and then to the Ohio Valley, and to deliver more snow for the interior Northeast, which could get hit twice here in the next 2 to 3 days. One about to happen overnight tonight. Winter weather advisory. You see this small section in southern Indiana? That is because this is beginning to overperform. It's hard to say it's overperforming because the HRRR model pretty much nailed it and said that, hey, there was a possibility of a widespread 2 to 4 inches of snow. And I believe some people have sent me some pictures on Twitter. The ground already white. Let me know what you're seeing down there. This might get expanded and in the coming next 1 to 2 hours or 3 hours into areas of Ohio. I think 1 to 2 counties in northern Kentucky even have a winter weather advisory. But you got winter storm watches up on the Tennessee side of the mountains down here. Smoky Mountains expecting might be a winter storm. But it's just the higher mountaintops where you'll get some northwest flow. We'll talk a little bit about that tonight. We got very detailed last night. I appreciate the amazing support on that video, by the way. Hit 20,000 views. It means the world when I, put so much time in those videos, and then they, get out there and reach a lot of people, and new people subscribe and get added to this family we have. So thank y'all so much for that. But winter weather advisories, which go up the spine of the Appalachian Mountains, is mainly for higher elevation. Let me know if you're seeing any ice in those higher elevations of West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina. But now you have winter storm warnings up where it looks like this storm, the first storm, has really increased as far as snowfall totals. And there is still that chance that some back-end snow can make it all the way to Boston, maybe even New York City, maybe even the state of Connecticut and Rhode Island. We'll talk a little bit about that in this video also. We'll give you a kind of a finalized update on this storm tonight, so stay tuned for that if you're in the Northeast along the I-95 corridor, hoping and praying for a little bit of snow. The Storm Prediction Center today, there will be a chance of severe weather. We've been watching this. It's ongoing right now. Overnight last night, 4 to 5 hours ago, looked like you had some water spouts off the coast of the Panhandle of Florida. But there is a marginal risk for severe storms. This actually goes all the way up to Charleston, almost all the way up to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but includes southeast Georgia, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, north central, and northern areas of Florida. There is a tornado threat, a little bit, 2% risk within 25 miles of any given location. This pretty large green area. There will be a damaging wind threat, but just watch out down here today. Some of these could sneak up on you because I think they'll be shrouded in rain. It's not, you might have an isolated semi supercell or something out there, but I'm not going to be surprised at all if you have a tornado warning or two out there. Just watch as these storms move from the Gulf Coast to inland. You'll certainly have to watch that. So what's going on with the radar today? If you look at the HRRR model, this is verifying pretty well. It's absolutely unloading at my house. It sounds like it's lightened up. I have a side door from my bedroom right here, and it doesn't sound like it's raining as hard, but man, I picked up over an inch of rain just in the last 2 to 3 hours. But, more so just rain up here in the southeast this morning, rain in Kentucky. Start to go just north of Kentucky, though. It's all snow. And we'll keep this as this low pressure is riding the spine of the Appalachian Mountains. There will be a break in Atlanta, even to Greenville, Spartanburg, maybe even Columbia a little bit later this afternoon. Maybe just goes to some drizzle, but at the same time, Panhandle of Florida, southeast Georgia, you see these little areas that are, yellow, more red. Those are more storms. There's a little bit more thermodynamics or just dynamics in general that could produce a severe weather threat here in the Panhandle, Big Bend areas of Florida, southeast Georgia. So please be careful today. Heed any warnings. Could become more widespread, and I think some of these storms will continue to go over some of the same areas. But there will be a break in maybe areas of the Carolinas a little bit later today. And then later this afternoon, this evening, more rain moves into Atlanta, moves into the Carolinas, and not to ignore you folks out west, there could be another little area of some showers and storms. This could produce a little bit of hail right here, these showers and storms in central to eastern Colorado. I think there'll be a little bit of cold air aloft. So I wouldn't be surprised if some small hail is reported in eastern Arkansas today. Maybe, watch out Memphis, northern areas of Mississippi into the overnight hours. We'll have to always watch these little redeveloping systems after the main system where there's more cold air aloft meaning above our heads that moves in. Cold air aloft could produce, certainly when it comes to non-winter weather, it could produce some hail for sure. So this will continue to move off, and then immediately behind it, overnight tonight, some northwest flow event will kick off in the higher elevations of Tennessee and North Carolina. Snow showers up into West Virginia, and here comes my cat jumping on my lap. Here we go. That rhymed. And so it's going to start snowing overnight. Maybe even some snow showers for Kentucky. But we'll go on and look how much rain can fall between now and the next 24 hours. Some of this has already fell, but could be a lot of rain down here in southern Georgia, Panhandle of Florida. It's going to be a lot of rain, especially in the eastern Carolinas today. Certainly going to be a washout, and some of these areas will be absolutely raw as far as temperatures. I don't think it's going to hang out the 40s, just a raw, cold rain. And that's just how it is most of the time here in the southeast when it comes to moisture in January. But a lot of moisture up here, but some of this will be in the form of snow. This is just picking up on precipitation in general. So look up here in the northeast, much more active today. Starting off this morning, it's pretty quiet. Get anything you got to get done. I'm telling you, if you got anything that you need to get done, especially if you live in the interior sections of the northeast, get it done this morning, because you'll have a break between this storm and the next storm. But I would get anything you need to get done today and then hunker down. I mean, it's not going to be a massive winter storm by any means, but certainly it's going to be some pretty impactful weather over the next 5 to 6 days, I really think. But here we go. The storm's moving in. All rain for West Virginia initially. Southern Ohio, southeast Ohio going to struggle with any winter weather. But, we'll stop this about midday, and it's snowing pretty good in Ohio. Let me see and let me know what y'all are seeing in Ohio, how much snow y'all are seeing. But We'll start this. Snow will begin to move in, if it hasn't already, into Detroit, Cleveland, a little bit here in the next hour or so. Like I said, if it hasn't already, snowing pretty good in Dayton. Still snowing pretty good around 9-10 a.m. down all the way as far south as Cincinnati. Columbus, Ohio, it's snowing. But if you go in these far southeast sections of Ohio, I really think it'll stay rain for the most part. Pittsburgh, this looks mainly rain to you guys, but as soon as you get into some of these hills of Pennsylvania, it's certainly going to be mixing with some frozen precipitation. We'll stop this around 3 to 4 p.m. this afternoon. Snowing pretty good in eastern and northeast sections of Ohio, Erie, Pennsylvania. I think you'll mix a little bit in Buffalo before switching to all snow potentially. Might be a little bit of a snow game this afternoon in Buffalo. In fact, I think it will. Hunker down, relax, because a lot of the eastern U.S. is going to be soggy anyways, and just enjoy your time. I think this Sunday along the eastern U.S. will be a perfect Sunday just to relax, watch some football, and do some things inside, because it's going to be very soggy weather, whether it's snowing in your neck of the woods or whether it's raining. But we'll keep this going here, and by the time we get into this evening around dinner time, you got an all-out snowstorm for most of New York, except the I-95 corridor down the Long Island, where it'll be all rain. It's just raining down here in New Jersey, maybe far northern sections of New Jersey, especially if you live in any hills, maybe mixing a little bit Scranton. It looks like it's snowing. Some back-end snow showers start to move into the Ohio Valley. So, it's just going to be very active in the Ohio Valley, the Midwest. I don't want to get ahead of myself, and in the Northeast as far as winter weather, especially the interior areas of the Northeast, and mainly specifically talking about those areas. I mean, because even after we get done with these two storms, guys, I already see more storms on the horizon, so we'll talk about that when it's needed. But we'll stop this in the middle of the night tonight. It is absolutely pouring in Boston, and it's all rain. It's a cold rain. Connecticut, Rhode Island, all rain. Southeast Mass, the southern sections of the Hudson Valley, all rain. Binghamton, you're getting close to the rain-snow line, but it looks like all snow, where you guys could get 3 to 5 inches of snow today. Upstate New York, certainly all snow. New Hampshire, Vermont, certainly most of the states are, all of Vermont's all snow. Southeast New Hampshire will struggle. All of Maine, it's snowing really good at this point into the middle of the night. We're getting into about 6 a.m. Still all rain. It's still snowing in the middle of New York State. Still struggling down here in southeast New Hampshire, but all snow as soon as you work a little north. And then I think the coastal regions, it is very close. That rain-snow line is very close for the coastal regions of Maine, but I really think you guys switch to all snow eventually. But one thing is the wild card, and I know I'm getting into tomorrow at this point, is right at the end of this. It's like a secondary low forms. This could throw back tomorrow a period of accumulating snow for areas deeper into southern New England. I'm talking about maybe southern sections of New England. And rain changes to snow, and this could start to accumulate pretty quickly in Boston. It doesn't matter. I'm not a big believer on, the fact that it rained beforehand is going to prevent snowfall accumulations. I've never even seen that in the South. If you switch from heavy rain for 10 hours into 4 or 5 hours of heavy snow, it's going to accumulate. It is. I mean, I don't know where that comes from. I really don't. A lot of people assume that, and a lot of people think that, even in the weather world. But, I mean, if it's snowing hard enough, even if the ground temperatures are warm, I mean, it's going to stick if it's snowing hard enough. And I really think there'll be a period tomorrow afternoon in New England and, southeast areas of New Hampshire, the down east areas of Maine, southern sections of Maine, where it could be snowing pretty good, and all the way into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and then it pulls off, and then it quiets down tomorrow overnight. Snowfall between now and tomorrow morning, anywhere from 3 to 5 inches from this huge swath here. Stay tuned to your local people. Interior sections of New York State could get a lot more, but this is just the next 24 hours. If I take it out for the whole duration of the storm, I mean, certain areas is going to get a foot of snow in southern New Hampshire and southern Vermont. And then watch out, certain sections of western Mass could get a doozy of a winter storm. This is going to be heavy, wet snow too. And then that interior area of New York State, 6 to 8, maybe as much as 10 inches of snow. Erie, 5 inches. Buffalo, 2 to 3 inches. Binghamton, 4 to 5 inches. Northern sections of Pennsylvania. So certainly watch out. You look at the latest 06Z Euro, and it really slams this section of New England. That's why you got winter storm warnings. So that was just the National Weather Service, but listen, this could bust high. Widespread over foot, snowfall totals 1.5 feet. This is just from the first storm, guys. So watch out for a bust potential on a highway. I mean, the Euro has maybe 4 to 5 inches of snow in Boston, has some heavier snowfall sneaking deeper into Connecticut and Rhode Island. Nothing really for Long Island, New York City, or anything like that. But it's close. But close just does not work in these setups. It doesn't matter. But definitely watch out. South Central U.S. is the quiet between both the storms. Very quiet day to day. Besides these isolated downpours that could develop in Arkansas, some of it might be in the form of a little bit of snow. Some sleet, some snow falling in the Ozarks of Arkansas. That's nothing compared to what you guys are about to see. But like I said, these could produce a little bit of hail. I would not be surprised at all with some cold air aloft. So don't be surprised if you're in Little Rock Points East. Maybe a little bit of some hail with some of these storms, but the storms won't be really intense. There's just the conditions above our heads certainly support maybe a little bit of hail. So we'll certainly watch out for that, guys. But moving forward here, there's it's not really a ton to speak on the South Central U.S., but we'll look at the North Central U.S. And besides this snow that we just mentioned, let me know what you've been seeing in Indiana, Indianapolis, anywhere. Let me see what you're seeing. Let me know what you're seeing in Springfield, Missouri. I'm sorry, Springfield. Well, there is a Springfield, Missouri, but also Springfield, Illinois. I really think for you folks that kind of missed with this first system, I think that week in Chicago, I think you can get the area of snow to develop just probably around lunchtime today into the afternoon hours. And this might throw some kind of mood flakes around Chicago a little bit later this afternoon, even into Indiana. Some more additional snow showers might get developing, but this isn't going to really accumulate to much. But watch out northern Indiana, southern, southwestern areas of Michigan a little bit later this evening. Could have some more moisture, really gets going, some lake-enhanced moisture off Lake Michigan. So if you're in northern sections of Indiana, maybe an additional inch or so of snow into the overnight hours, and we get into tomorrow morning, and we have waking up tomorrow morning to some flakes flying around in Ohio. Like I said, a little bit closer look at you folks in the Ohio Valley. And, this is what's going on currently. This is the radar. Some heavy snow about to move into Columbus. In fact, it already has. I don't have the reports pulled up because they kind of flood the screen. But Cincinnati, let me know what you're seeing. In fact, we're going to do this on the fly here and see what they're reporting in Cincinnati right now. And snow. You got one report of just mixed sleet and snow, but it's snowing in far northern Kentucky also, in Independence. Just reporting rain down in Lexington, Louisville. There's even reports of snow in Louisville, Kentucky. Evansville, Indiana, snow. It's snowing pretty good in Ohio this morning. The HRRR model, I would say, nailed it. And I would say I would love to know what you're seeing from Cincinnati to Dayton. I have a feeling that it's probably accumulating pretty decently in these areas. Certainly let me know what you're seeing. I would love to know, but this is the current radar out of the area. Snow knocking on the doorstep of Cleveland and then eventually Erie later today. But we keep moving forward here, and this is how it could look. Snow continues, I think, all the way through at least early afternoon, potentially for Cincinnati. I think that this could be a boom potential for you guys. I talked about it last night in the video the night before last that, hey, the HRRR model is saying that this could be a decent event for areas of the Ohio Valley. And then as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, additional snow tries to get developing like I mentioned. And then watch out down here. As we're getting into the middle of the night, some rain showers will try to turn to snow showers in the eastern and southeastern areas of Kentucky. And then it'll start snowing in some of these higher elevations. In fact, let's switch it. Let's see if I can do this really quick. I did not anticipate to do this, but look, we'll go down here and let's see if they'll let me look at my 06Z here. Go down here. Look, as we're getting into the overnight hours, it starts to switch to all snow. For the higher elevations, the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee, it's snowing pretty good. In these higher elevations of southwest Virginia, West Virginia, seeing snow depending on where you are. And then this will continue throughout all the way into tomorrow morning. And then you'll continue to get snow showers all day and flurries in this entire area of the southern Appalachian Mountains. So snowfall between now and the next 24 hours. Listen, the National Weather Service has to be wrong. Please let me know what you're seeing in Cincinnati and to Dayton and that entire area. I would love to know. I don't pretend to know every geographical location in the Ohio Valley, but I'm trying to get better. But this is what the National Weather Service is showing. But you turn around and you look at the HRRR model, guys, and the latest HRRR model for the 12Z is actually running right now. But it's already picking up on a few inches of snow down near Cincinnati, 3 to 4 inches of snow in Dayton, and let me know. I think the HRRR model nailed this. If you guys are actually seeing some accumulating snow, which I have a feeling you are. But temperatures today, Very cold up here, but nothing that you guys can't handle for this time of the year. But you're locked in below freezing from northern Missouri, northern Kansas, northward. Chicago, you will flirt with a freezing mark, might get just above it, but very cold in the Ohio Valley. Some areas won't get above freezing, some areas will, but just in the 30s. Northeast today, very cold rain in Boston. Notice you're in the 30s where it's just pouring rain overnight tonight. But listen, the Carolinas is going to be a weird area, Georgia, where areas of northern Georgia will be locked into the CAD, cold air damming to Carolinas also. So South Georgia might be in the 60s and 70s. Coastal regions, the Carolinas, 50s and 60s. But, you don't have to go far enough north and you're only in the 40s and maybe even the 30s. But Florida is the only state in South Texas looking good today. 70s and 80s, 70s in South Texas. But, yeah, even if it's in just the 30s and 40s, enjoy, do what you got to do in these areas right here. Because there might be there is going to be a snowstorm on the way. And to speak on that, and like I said, guys, for you folks wondering out here what's going to happen, I get more detailed again tonight. I'm not saying I'm going to rush through this very quickly, but we'll zone in on these areas. But the latest 06Z Euro, here it comes. Nothing's really changed. I mean, snow is getting very close, very deep down in Texas here. Amarillo, I do think I'm starting to have confidence in the Amarillo area that you guys, the heaviest snow is going to be south of the city. But look at all this mixing showing up as we're getting into Tuesday afternoon. If you're confused about what time frame, really look over here and back it up an hour, because Central Time's backed up an hour. This is in Eastern Time, but January 24th around 3 p.m. So this is Tuesday afternoon. Mixing, I don't know I haven't looked to see what the National Weather Service in Dallas-Fort Worth is saying for this area, but let me know what your locals are saying in the Dallas area. But I really think as soon as you work between Dallas and Oklahoma City, there will likely be a snowstorm Tuesday evening, especially. But as we're getting into Tuesday evening, heavy snow begins to move into northwest Arkansas. It's very, very, very close to Little Rock from being something more substantial. But I just looked at the National Weather Service and basically the entire state of Arkansas, and it has an area of snow here and here. But I really think that this is going to be the epicenter in this area of the country. Northwest Arkansas, especially the Ozarks. I would not be surprised if somebody gets 8 to 12 inches of snow. That's not what they're calling for right now, but I would not be surprised at all. But, it's snowing pretty heavily south of Oklahoma City and Tulsa. I really think this area right here of Oklahoma could get hit hard. There could be an area right here in northern Texas, just outside of Dallas. But, I mean, if you look at the latest Euro, it is snowing. It's snowing in Dallas into the overnight hours of Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. This is around midnight Tuesday night, and snowing pretty good. Snowing very heavily in areas of southern Missouri, and we keep this going, guys. And this is just an all-out snowstorm. It's still snowing. Wednesday morning, you're waking up, and then we'll switch it to the eastern U.S., and this is an all-out snowstorm that is moving in to the Ohio Valley from Missouri all the way into western areas of Pennsylvania. You got snow. It's snowing now. Shows a snowstorm initially for northern Kentucky. This will be snow falling on top of snow for certain areas. And then the thing is this low pressure wants to move right into the Ohio Valley. So there's a solid chance that some areas will go from heavy snow to maybe rain to maybe back in snow. But I will stop it here. This is Wednesday about midday, guys, and it's snowing pretty heavily in Pennsylvania. Even initial snow in New York City before quickly changing to rain potentially. But I mean, the latest Euro has a period of heavy snow for Long Island for about 6 hours. In New York State, the latest short range Euro, this is the latest one that came out, has a period of snow. So watch out. Southern New England starts out as all snow, and this is as far out as it goes. This is the 90-hour Euro. And I'll stop it right here. I know you folks up here are wondering more. You know what? I'll go on and look at the 06Z, the OOZ, and same thing. We'll keep this going. Heavy snowfall in the interior northeast, and there could be some icing issues in the interior northeast. But like I said, we'll back it up here. I really think Wednesday morning into Wednesday is going to be a big day. Chicago, you are right on the fringe of something more substantial. If you're in Chicago and you're a winter weather fan, you're pulling for this low pressure right here to be more north or northwest. But there is a corridor, very heavy snow Wednesday midday from central to southern Illinois to central, right on top of Indianapolis. Snowing for all the cities and towns, especially Wednesday morning for Ohio. Everybody seeing snow in Ohio Wednesday morning. And yeah, this moves through the latest GFS. Same kind of deal. It doesn't quite show snow as far south as the latest Euro, but it does show a whopper of a snowstorm from, like I said, eastern Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas. This moves in. Snow makes it all the way as far north as Kansas City, just not as heavy, but this little corridor right here, guys, absolutely gets hit hard with some substantial snowfall totals. This is kind of an event, guys, that I really think where your snowfall forecast locally starts off kind of conservative, but then they gradually increase it right before the storm, and I could see that happening with this. I think just the National Weather Service are kind of shy from pulling the trigger on some of these big snowfall totals because it seems like they've been busting low lately. So I'm not saying that's why they're doing it, but at the same time, you got to go off what you're seeing. You can't go off what the public is kind of yapping about. And I know a lot of people have not seen what they thought they were going to get forecasted, but I think this is going to be a big event from areas of Texas, especially eastern and southeastern Oklahoma, from northern Arkansas, central to southern Missouri, and basically central Illinois points east. And here comes the latest GFS. The GFS pulls this low pressure more so into Indiana. So there's a big difference between the Euro and the Euro and the GFS. The GFS potentially could bring more snow into Chicago and brings a corridor heavier snow into areas of eastern Illinois and kind of central to north central areas of Indiana. But man, it's still a lot of heavy snow. It could be a wintry mess for Pittsburgh and potentially all of the state of Pennsylvania. But the low pressure plows right over Indiana into northwest areas of Ohio. Therefore, a lot of Ohio switches to rain. Okay, even areas of Cleveland could certainly go from heavy snow to just flat out rain, then back to snow. So, one model is certainly more north and warmer than the other, and that's the GFS, which is more warmer. But I can tell you, behind the system, more back-end snow. It snows on top of snow on top of snow. And the latest GFS has snow as far south as maybe northern Georgia. Not a lot, but just a clipper system and just back-end moisture that really filters into the area. And then another system flies through. This is a clipper, brings in more snow. So a very wintry pattern setting up over the next week, guys. You guys wanted snow? Well, most of y'all did. You're about to get it. National Weather Service as far as snowfall. Listen, the weirdest thing that I see here, and let's see if there's another update. There might be an update that makes this look a little bit better, but there's not. Weirdest thing that I see here, guys, is this weird uncertainty in Oklahoma. This is the National Weather Service, and here's Amarillo, just south of Amarillo, picking up 3 to 4 inches of snow. And look at this area right here in northwest Arkansas. But there's a lot of scattered and smothered confidence on this from the National Weather Service. And the reason why you have this weird glitch right here is because basically the National Weather Service are not kind of in agreement with one another necessarily. That's not like they're bickering, but they haven't updated their stuff. And I do think there's going to be an area somewhere in Oklahoma that might not get as much as other areas. But confidence is certainly increasing in eastern Oklahoma that you're going to get accumulating snow. But Oklahoma City and especially Tulsa, you're right on the fringe. But, if they were predicting, an inch or two in Kansas City, Tulsa downstream, I imagine, could get a couple inches of snow. But listen, Arkansas, we'll go over to Arkansas here. They were predicting, and this is this is over a half a foot of snow right now from the National Weather Service in this area of snow in Arkansas. And then southern Missouri, this could be, a 2 to 3, 4 inch snowstorm. But right now, no winter storm watches for this area. So we'll flip it back to this and we'll actually go to the latest European ensemble. And this is from the 06Z, so newest data, and shows a swath of accumulating snow. And one thing that's really loud to me is this area right here in Texas. And I don't pretend to know every town and city in this area of Texas. This is definitely kind of an area where there's just smaller towns and communities and certain and spaces and far, but in between in those areas, there's not a lot of highly populated areas. But this area of Texas could get hit pretty good. I mean, look, Dallas-Fort Worth, right on the fringe. This could be a sneaky event for you guys. I haven't heard many people mention that. Dallas, but just north of town could get accumulating snow. I'm not talking about 6 inches or anything, but watch out, Dallas. I'm conflicted on Dallas. I'm gonna watch some. I got a lot of things to do today, but I'm gonna watch the model guidance on Dallas and see if I can have a more confident Um, Thoughts on Dallas, but listen, I mean, Northwest Arkansas confidence is increasing for a 6 to 8 inch snowfall event, and then there's this little area right into here that could jackpot too in southeastern areas of Oklahoma and western areas of Arkansas. But a pretty sizable event, 4 to 5, maybe 6 inches of snow showing up for Missouri. We'll switch it over and we'll look at the areas of the Ohio Valley. The blend of all models is the first event. Blend of all models, this is what it's showing. This is always going to take the more conservative amounts, but it still snows, a good bit of snow for the Ohio Valley. But let's just go on and look at the European ensemble for these areas, and I believe this. I'm not going to lie. I'm not trying to hype up higher snowfall totals. We'll go all the way out to the end because there's back end snow behind this between now and basically Saturday morning of next weekend. I mean, look. This is obviously picking up on what's falling now, but a pretty sizable snowfall event potentially for Indianapolis through Ohio to Erie, places like that, guys. I really think this is going to be a big hit. Stop the screen if you want to focus in on certain areas, but certainly having to pick up the speed of this video because I got to head off to church. But, look at this. The interior Northeast, big hit. But Boston, it's close. It's close. The ensemble from the European shows, hey, you could get close to a half a foot of snow. It all depends on what this first system does. I think this second system is going to be hard to get snow, but the first system might be what you're grabbing onto for snowfall in Boston. But the interior areas, this is going to be, you're really putting down the foundation for snow up here in the Northeast. This is what winter's supposed to look like up here, and you're certainly going to get it for the interior areas of the Northeast. You don't have to go far north and west of the I-95 corridor to see appreciable snowfall totals. So National Weather Service from these areas, the blend of all models, but here's even the blend of all models, which is typically a conservative model for the most part. Look down here in West Virginia. Could be a lot of snow for you folks. Only shows a few inches of snow in Pittsburgh, but you guys could see more. Binghamton, between this system and the next, 8 to 10 inches of snow is possible. Interior areas of New York State, widespread foot snowfall totals. So we'll continue to watch this. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for the amazing support. I'll have you a bigger video tonight, and we'll keep trying to figure this out. Even if my poor souls here in South Carolina, just in a brutal cold rain, I'll continue to get excited for you folks who are excited for the winter weather. God bless all. Y'all have a great Sunday and stay safe.